Gonzalez only has to serve 210 days in jail, and with time credits, she could be out by the middle of October.
Have you ever heard of a cop breaking the law by loving it? These shocking scandals have everyone talking. Number 1. Tina Gonzalez was a 26-year-old corrections officer at the Fresno County Jail in California. Her actions were discovered when staff members received a tip about an inmate with a cell phone. Tina, however, crossed the line of her professional duties and broke the law. It's reported that she was involved in a romantic relationship with an inmate, a person serving time in prison due to a criminal conviction. Such relationships are strictly forbidden as they can lead to a host of issues, including favorism, corruption, and breaches of security. Tina, instead of concealing her deeds, apparently engaged in sexual activity with a prisoner in full view of 11 other inmates. This is a clear violation of professional conduct for a corrections officer. Not to mention, it's downright inappropriate. Moreover, it's illegal because it exploits the power dynamic that exists between a corrections officer and a prisoner. It's just not right. When all these shocking details surfaced, Tina was taken into custody and faced trial. The evidence was so compelling that she was declared guilty. Consequently, she received a jail sentence, so she's going to serve time behind bars as a consequence of her actions. During the trial, Assistant Sheriff Steve McComas testified that Gonzalez's actions were something only a depraved mind can come up with. He also revealed that Gonzalez had given the inmate razors, which could be used as a weapon in jail, and had informed him about when officers would inspect his cell. It was also found that Gonzalez had cut a hole in her uniform to make sex with the inmate easier. Gonzalez didn't even fight the charges. She didn't fight against the serious crime charge of having sexual relation as a jail worker with an inmate who agreed to it. It's like she accepted the charge without admitting she did it. On top of that, she was also charged with a felony for having drugs or alcohol in a jail facility and a misdemeanor for intending to deliver a cell phone to an inmate. But what's really shocking is that even after all this, Gonzalez didn't show any regret. She just kept on having explicit conversations with the inmate, even after she was busted. It's pretty unbelievable. Gonzalez's defense lawyer Martin Telesnik argued that she was in a vulnerable state due to her recent divorce and she had owned up to her actions. However, Judge Michael Idiot, while delivering her sentence, took into account her early plea and the fact that she had no prior criminal record. Gonzalez was sentenced to 210 days in jail, along with 2 years of probation. That's actually less than the maximum sentence she could have faced, which was 3 years and 8 months in prison. The prosecution had even suggested a sentence of 16 months in prison, so it seems like she got off a bit easier.
Communicated sensitive information to the inmate about individuals that were entering the inmate's pod, as well as times and places or times when the pod would be searched.
Number 2. Charlene Diane O'Banian, who's 33 and used to be a deputy at the Montgomery County Jail, got a jail sentence of 100 days. And you know why? For having inappropriate sexual relations with someone in custody. The whole thing was exposed when the authorities got wind of a recorded call between O'Banian and a guy named Jacob Parker, who was 28 and was in custody. In that call, they were openly talking about their sexual encounters. You know what's even more shocking? O'Banian admitted to having a sexual encounter with Parker on November 17, 2021 in a hidden area within the jail. She mentioned that there was a drug problem in the jail, which resulted in no floor workers being present in B Quad, a section within the jail. Because of this, the jail staff had to rely on volunteers from another housing unit to clean B Quad. O'Banian confessed that she and Parker went to a secluded area inside the Montgomery County Jail where they kissed and had sex. And she said this happened just once. Parker had been behind bars since March 2, 2021. Initially, the charges against the jailer were for violating the civil rights of a person in custody through sexual misconduct. But later, these charges were altered to improper sexual activity with the person in custody, and she was eventually sentenced for official oppression. When whispers started circulating among the other officers, an investigation started. Charlene thought she had managed to keep her actions under wraps, but the detectives were on their game. Right from the start, Charlene acts as if she has no clue about the accusations. When the detectives question her about the alleged relationship, she initially brushes off any inappropriate contact. She says something like, "I suppose there was this one time when Parker was heading back to Pequot to use the restroom and we were chatting at the window. I guess Cooker wasn't too pleased about that." She hints that the rumors might have started from an envious inmate, Justin Cooker, and insists that her only encounter with Parker was a short chat near the jail restroom. Guess what's even more surprising? The detectives had recorded phone calls that didn't match up with her story. One of the detectives was like, "We've got these jail calls between you and Parker, and all of that is recorded. So I don't think you're telling us the whole truth." That's when Charlene confessed. She admitted that she knew Parker before he was locked up and that they had a short-lived sexual relationship outside the prison. She was like, "We used to chat a few years ago, and then I ended up here, and he ended up here too." The detectives didn't let up. They brought up those explicit phone calls where Charlene and Parker were discussing their past sexual adventures in details. But Charlene was like, "No, it wasn't sexual." "Well, I don't mean phone sex, just talking about sexual acts." Even with all the damning evidence stacked against her, Charlene kept denying any recent wrongdoing at first. When the detectives played back the recordings where Parker was implicating Charlene, saying stuff like, "I was just trying to get it done. I was like soaking through my clothes," Charlene's denial started to lose their credibility. In the end, she confessed to having a sexual relationship with Parker while he was in jail. She admitted, albeit reluctantly, "Yeah, but I feel like I know the answer. I'm losing my job."
So there was an inmate named Coker, Justin Coker.
Okay.
He got out of here for I don't know what period of time, and he tried to contact me on Facebook. He sent me a message, and I blocked him on Facebook. And I guess one time Parker was going back to Pequot to use the bathroom, and he was talking like at the window with me. And I guess Coker like didn't like that, which I had no contact with him or anything.
Number 3. Gemma Cowperthwaite, who was a jail guard at the St. Clair County Jail in Michigan, found herself in quite a scandal. She was just 26 when it all happened. She was accused of having an affair with an inmate at the jail. And you know what's even more interesting? The inmate was on work release at the time, which means they could leave the jail for work during the day and have to come back in the evening. The relationship between Gemma Cowperthwaite and the inmate was discovered when someone informed the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department. They didn't waste any time and started an internal investigation right away on April 18. The inmate openly talked about their relationship during a meeting to discuss the reasons for the investigation. This resulted in Cowperthwaite being put on leave during the investigation, and she was fired shortly after. They even started a criminal investigation and issued an arrest warrant for her on April 24. So it was the first report that the following investigations that revealed the relationship. The inmate shared during a probable cause conference that she first crossed paths with Cowperthwaite at the jail in July. She went on to say that she met Gemma again at her home in spring, and that's where their relationship started. The woman was present in the courtroom when Gemma was making her plea. She even asked the judge if they could lift the no-contact order, but the judge didn't have any of it. St. Clair County Sheriff Tim Donnellan revealed that they started an internal investigation on April 18, right after they got the wind of the relationship between the jail guard and the inmate. During the investigation, Cowperthwaite was put on the bench with administrative leave, and not long after, she was given the boot. They didn't stop there. They also launched a criminal investigation and even issued an arrest warrant for her on April 24. It's quite a turn of events. Cowperthwaite was slapped with the charge of second-degree criminal sex conduct, which could have landed her in jail for 15 years, but she pleaded guilty to a lesser charge, sexual assault with the intent to commit penetration. That's still a serious offense, carrying a 10-year felony sentence.
If you don't do this, I'm gonna do this.
Do you accept that in some small way that perhaps there was an abuse of power?
In a small way, yeah. Not to the extent that they're claiming.
Guess what's even more astounding? This plea means Cowperthwaite's name will be on the state's sexual offender registry for the rest of her life. Judge Daniel Kelly sentenced her to 10 months in jail. However, 4 months of that sentence could be suspended if she pays her fines and court costs. According to the court documents, Cowperthwaite has already put up a $10,000 bond. So if she settles her fines and court costs, she'll only have to spend 6 months behind bars. As these investigations unfold, one thing is clear: the truth is stranger than fiction. Even though the laws are strong, will these incidents happen in the future? Comment your thoughts on this, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.